Greetings everyone, and I just wanted to do a quick hobby update today, mostly showing off, as you can see, these weird things I've made recently directly in front of me. My Dead Wars project was in full swing, but I just kept kit bashing. Here's some Oathmark heavy orcs with Stargrave scavenger weapons, various cultist bits. So that is got a bit out of hand. I think I've got over 100 figures to paint for that. So while I was staring down the barrel of that and continuing to kit bash figures, I thought I need a quick and easy win here, just to sort of keep the hobby juices flowing, keep it loose, keep it accessible, most of all keep it cheap. And so I just started kit bashing various odd bits that I had around. There's some cheap knights you regularly see on Amazon, which I've used before. I recently boosted my stock of them here from Amazon. You've probably seen them. It's sort of your standard sword guy. There's a few different poses, some cavalry figures as well. There's a guy with a spear. So I had a draw of these guys and I just started cutting them up, bashing them together, trying to make weird, esoteric, grimdark warbands. One of the initial ideas I had was a guy that had sort of merged himself with a church organ. Where's the lights? Is it better like that? Does that give you a better... Oh yeah, there you go. That looks decent, doesn't it? So there's a guy who's merged himself with a church organ. Oh no, not at all. Try and bring the light back. Just get the position right of the figure. There we go. Yeah, so he had the spear guy legs I just showed you, spear guy arm. There's the spear guy's head at the top. It's an arm from a random Roman looking guy that shows up in bags of cheap knights. And he's mostly just straws, paper straws. There's some coffee stirrers, chain, and some of the EVA foam sort of shapes that I have loads of, covered in texture goop, painted up to look rusty. The heads I got from someone on Instagram. I can't remember their name now, but it's a super glue lid, and I've got some skull beads, so I've been cutting the front of those off, gluing them to the super glue lids to make like a weird crown skull head combo. So there was that guy. Then for some ranged support in the warband, still I'll use some of the archer figures, a bit less conversion work on them. There's my second archer, of course thrown in the a baby for good measure, because you always need a baby, don't you, when you go off into war. For melee, you have these guys. These are the bigger Halloween skeletons you often see. They're not huge. They're probably like somewhere between 4 and 6 inches tall. But I've chopped their arms off, glued them. It's actually the sword guy I showed you a minute ago. So there's his sword arm's been replaced with a big sort of bony claw. Upped his shield with some coffee stirrers and chain. And yeah, they're mounted on 40mm wooden squares. Here's my other guys, shield and big bony claw. And then to lead them, we needed a suitable heroic figure, you can see here. Started off, as you could imagine, Just the normal one of them. But he had a big, he had a halberd, but I didn't like the blade on it, so I replaced it. This is masking tape, sort of wrap masking tape around the halberd, which is still inside. Cut it to shape with a knife, and then gave it a couple of coats of super glue, which makes it harden up decently. It feels like sort of like thin plastic at that point. And then a couple of layers of my texture, and it's pretty solid. He's got skulls. There's a baby on the back. He's a tank, a knight, a tank, and I think that's a giraffe with its head cut off and shoved in the bottom of the tank. Not really sure what's going on there. A weird configuration of a centaur, but there's him. And then to oppose my weird skull gang, I just started getting a bit weird with it. We have these sort of ghost looking fellas who are still mostly drying, actually, their bases anyway. It's a knight. Chop their arms off. These are actually tails from it's like a bag of skeleton dinosaurs that I found on Amazon, and I chopped the heads off and then used I think they're 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter wooden cubes, stacked 2 of them but put one slightly off center to give a bit more interest, wrapped in this kitchen towel. The way I did that was kitchen towel. I don't know if you're not in the UK, I'm getting paint all over my hand. If you're not in the UK, do you use kitchen towel a lot, or is that a UK thing? It's basically like thick toilet paper, but it doesn't degrade with water. You want to rip a decent piece off, get it wet, sort of pose it on, and then paint it with watered down PVA, and capillary action sort of takes it into the kitchen towel, and then it's not like rock solid, but decently solid enough. So then just dump that all over the creation to give it a ghosty look, and put some chain around the neck, again like they've escaped from somewhere. So I've got 3 of them, which are basically the same, with like 2 bone whip arms each. And then a sort of infantry leadery guy who's got a gun for an arm. This came from a bag of like big army men. They're like 4 or 5 inches tall. They're terrible posability, terrible quality plastic, nothing will stick to it. So I stole the end of a shotgun, I think it was, from them. And he got the head of a dinosaur rather than a tail for his other arm. And he's sort of a shooty leadery guy. And then as a big monster to support them, because I felt they seemed a little bit underpowered. This is a cheap T-Rex. I replaced its head with a big skull. And then I just stuck a bunch of wooden cubes down its back for some reason, almost like a stegosaurus. Covered it in the same paper towel. Covered it in my texture goop, wrapped it in chain, and that was sort of whatever that is. So as I say, I had a lot of fun doing these. Sometimes it's just fun to let your imagination run wild and bash something crazy together. Paint jobs were all decently quick. I think these guys started out black, and then I just dotted various watered down paints on. Chucked a wash over. So just a cheap black wash I've got in a pot of Mod Podge here. It's nothing fancy. Water, a bit of washing up liquid, and cheap black paint. Gave them these guys got a quick dry brush of a mix. It was like a mix of, I think, GW's Liberator Gold, which has Liberator Gold, which has pretty terrible coverage out the pot. And I think it was plate mail metal from Warpaint's plate mail metal. Mixed them together on a palette and just gave them a quick dry brush to make it look like sort of rusty, degraded armour that had been chipped occasionally, so you got metallics coming through. These guys started out, I think it was all green, and then it was just dumping on various colours. You can see like red and blue in there, just for variation. Dry brushed and white. I did the same wash, then dry brushed and white. Ran like Nihilak Oxide from DW around the chains, and then used blood for the blood god to do the blood effects. But yeah, that's just my sort of little hobby update. I think sometimes if you get stuck in a long project where you've got a lot of painting to do, sometimes it's just good to have a little easy win, and just something to mess around with. I'm not sure what rules would work particularly well with these guys. Forbidden Psalm maybe, or something else that I've cooked up on my own. I've got plenty of like little easy skirmish rules I can play with them. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.